Welcome back for part 3 of What Female Deku Was Antylamon. We start this off with Antylamon reaching back to their base. I realize that we may be disposed of at the sports festival. But did Antylamon propose where we would go after? Of course he didn't. So, she goes to meet with Antylamon in his chambers, which is like a cold cave with icicles all around. As Antylamon enters, Antylamon gets up from his area and goes to see Antylamon. What do I owe the pleasure of you coming to see me? You never said where would we be going after we escaped. Oh, yeah, that's still in a work in progress. Should have known. I have an idea, but it'll be risky. And what may this be? We go to Island. Why there? Easy. We kidnap David Shield and have him make a digital zone. A place where our bodies can go in and out without any trouble. A digital zone. That's exactly what we need. With the digital zone, we can have access to pretty much any place. I don't think we'll be able to do that, Antylamon. The best we can do is limit it to one area that is digitalized, where we can enter and leave as we please. The space in it can be massive, but we can only enter and leave through that certain location. We'll work on expanding it later. So kidnapping David Shield after the USJ event is what we're going to do. Most likely. You never gave me the name of the child you mentioned previously. You'll find out. You can say she's a perfect candidate. Very well. As Antylamon walks off, as Antylamon grins. At least I know Antylamon's on my side. That make things a whole lot easier for me. After all, Antylamon will not betray the people she trusts, and All for One fell out of her trust quite a while ago. Now I must prepare. The plan, or in the sports festival, is just a few days away. As he enters back into his, cave of ice, we go to Antylamon, who had just entered her room. How hard could it be to create us? As she starts messing with the computer, trying to find anything on how she and Antylamon were created. And she finds something. A file that says we are not doing any more creating of creatures like Antylamon and Antylamon, because they think they will be uncontrollable in the future. And it says, we're just lucky these two are idiots. As this irritates Antylamon. So that's what they think we are. Blind idiots just follows orders. I'm glad I teamed up with Antylamon on this. Now he better convince me otherwise, or else I'm gonna slaughter that doctor. Then again, if I take the information, maybe I could get David Shield to create more. Or I could try my hand at it. Oh well, time will tell. As she leaves, walking down a hallway as it turns pitch black. And we go to the heroes, or more or less Aizawa in a room by himself, going over the footage when it cut back on after the electric guy was defeated. As he keeps scanning, watching the same footage of the bullets not hitting Shigaraki, as it doesn't make sense. As he keeps going over and over until he goes into super slow motion, as then she sees somewhat of a hand blocking the bullets, only though it's for a mere moment. He decides to go to Nezu. As he goes to Nezu's office, Nezu, there was someone else at the USJ. How can you be so sure, Aizawa? Simple. He shows him the video. That does look like one. So you're suggesting the person that was invisible took the damage for Shigaraki, then left? Yes. We would have saw a blood trail. Maybe their skin was tough enough. Or she stopped the bleeding. He or she stopped the bleeding. That could be a theory. Or maybe she was warped out with Shigaraki. That is also a possibility. I'll inform the others. But for right now, focus on the sports festival coming up. After all, we have, a few days left? Yes. And I want this to be a absolutely magnificent display to show that we're not scared of the villains. Of course, I'll do my best on it. As we go back to Antylamon, who is lurking over someone in a room. Have you made your choice, child? As the plan is going into motion, so I need your answer now. As the little girl in front of her says yes. Good answer. Now what do you want first? I would like out of here. In a few days, we will come and get you. As she looks at Antylamon. Who's we? An ally of mine. She is just like me. We're digital monsters. Digimon, you can call us. And you'll be the future of this digital era. So just hold in for a few more days. We will then get you out. Alright. I'll do as you say. Just don't take long. Oh, don't worry, child. We won't be too long. It's only a few days. We'll have you out before the week ends. Probably the end of the week. You have my word on that. As Antylamon disappears. As the child looks at her bandages. As we then go back to the base, where Antylamon just arrived back. So where have you been? As he jumps and turns around. Oh, it's just you, Antylamon. I thought I would have to deal with some agents of All for One. No, but you could have been a lot more stealthier when coming back. No one else would have noticed it, but if All for One was here, or Kurogiri, they would have. Well, just be thankful it was you. Yes, you can thank me later. Also, I came to talk to you about something. What is it? I know we've been planning this for a while. But how do you suppose we create more Digimon like us? I've grabbed the files, and you're right. They're using us as pawns. They're not going to create anymore. We could always fall back on. We could always use David Shield. That's what I was thinking too. But cooperation with David Shield won't be so simple. We'll need a bargaining chip. Something that'll interest him. Ah, I know just the thing. After all, they're not aware of all of our existence, right? Yeah. So, we convinced the doctor to make one more Digimon. How will we do that? You're right, he would just inform all for one. They have a new pawn. I could throw my hand in it and try to make a Digimon. But the results will not be that. It'll be nothing too powerful. As you see my size and all that, I'll need a lot of time. Luckily, our race started. So I moved the information and the creation of the Digimon to the secret base you talked about a little while ago, while the digital field hasn't been set up yet. Thinking ahead, Antylamon. That's what I appreciate about you. You fill in the spots I lack, and fill in the spots you miss on a plan. Hey, that's a little bit mean. You're mean, Ice Devimon. So it's only right if I'm mean back to you. I don't like it when you're right. Anyway, let's move on. You went to see the child, correct? Yes, she is doing quite well for the time being, although she wants us to get her out of her position. We can't do that until after the sports festival, or else All for One will know something. That's what I said. Just hold in for a few more days. Then we'll be able to grab her and get her out. That is a good plan, Ice Devimon. For once, you're thinking outside the box. Again, I'm not a total idiot. I know you aren't. But All for One and the doctor think you are, as well as me. We'll prove them wrong. How is the escape plan coming, by the way? Oh, quite simple. I already started a underground ice lair under the UA Sports Festival. We can make our escape through there. I'll be able to phase us through the wall. Unfortunately, you'll have to crawl your way out. It's big enough for me to walk through. But you, on the other hand, I get it. I am tall. Anything else I should know? While we're there, we'll make it seem like we've been defeated and escape. But we'll do as much damage as possible to make it seem we're with the Yellow V. After all, we don't. All for One's gonna know something was up. I agree with you on that. So I'll cause as much damage as I can. I'll most likely be having to stop the main fighters, as my skin is pretty much impenetrable. Yes. But I can still be damaged by the hits of these heroes. On a couple of them. Endeavor's gonna be a problem. Don't worry about Endeavor. I'll make sure he doesn't reach you. Fair point. I guess I'll just have to freeze the stadium. Anything else you need to inform me, Antylamon? Actually, yes. I hear that the main process that I looked up for the creation of Digimon is the data process, creating a body. It should be easy for us to come up with a body for a Digimon, like us. But what type? We'll discuss that later. I do have a few ideas, though, of people that would be useful. But for now, let's just let it be. Alright. And now, we go to, let's say a few days later, the sports festival. We are in the final rounds of the sports festival, as Antylamon and Ice Devimon are just watching, waiting for the signal from Kuragiri and Shigaraki. As it's coming down to the final fights of the first years, as they get a signal, as Ice Devimon drops in from above, freezing the entire arena. Basically encircling the arena with a ice dome, keeping everyone inside. As Antylamon destroys a part of the stands as she walks in and uncloaks herself. As Shigaraki and a bunch of Nomu come out in the middle, as Shigaraki has a mic. Today you heroes will fall by our hands, and I hope you all enjoy some company, as I brought two of my strongest with me. Meet Antylamon and Ice Devimon. They'll be your downfall. As Endeavor drops off, we'll see as he throws a big heat wave at them, as Antylamon puts her hands up and harns her skin as the fire just disperses. Your fire won't work on me, Endeavor. As she rushes at him and kicks him, sending him to the top of the ice dome. As Ice Devimon is dealing with a whole lot of the lower class heroes, slaughtering them, killing them, as he sees something strange. He sees a big explosion, sending him flying. As it was Katsuki Bakugo. As Antylamon sees this, she swings her hand, hitting Bakugo, sending him into the stands. As a lot of the heroes are dealt with the Nomu, as Shigaraki's just laughing at the chaos, All Might comes in, going after Ice Devimon to try to get him out of the fight, as Antylamon jumps in front of him, as she is super fast, and takes the punch, sliding back a bit, but manages to not take as much damage. Ice Devimon, are you alright? Yeah, the explosion did a little bit of damage, but nothing too vital. Good. Start freezing the area more. As Antylamon rushes at All Might, throwing a right hook. All Might dodges it, as Antylamon threw an uppercut, hitting All Might, sending him to the top of the ice dome. As it cracks, as it doesn't break because Ice Devimon made it super hard. As he gets out and is falling down, Antylamon rushes at All Might and turns one of her hands into an axe as he's about to swing down to cut All Might in half. Mirko comes and hit Antylamon in the face, sending her rolling over to the stands, taking out some of the heroes and some of the Nomu. Shigaraki is irritated. Antylamon, I told you to deal with the top heroes, not to lay down. As Antylamon gets up, what do you think I'm doing, Shigaraki? As most of the people are just watching as Antylamon gets back up, as Mirko rushes at her again, as she jumps aside, dodging, her kick. So it's nice to see another person with a rabbit quirk. Don't throw me for that, just that, as she appears out of nowhere, just punching her, sending her flying. As she dashes, punching a whole lot of heroes. Stop messing around, Antylamon, and just kill All Might. As she turns her arm into an axe and is going to kill All Might. A big ice barrier comes in and stops Antylamon's arm. My arm's stuck. Ice Devimon, I could use some assistance. As Ice Devimon makes his way over, as it was Shoto that sprung the ice to stop Antylamon. As All Might punches Antylamon really hard, as she is doing like flips in the air as she lands on her feet on the ground. As Ice Devimon had shattered the ice that Shoto was sending at Antylamon. As then they look and see that Shigaraki's is losing a battle. As he's losing Nomu and all that, he decides to retreat. Y'all better make up for this. Kill All Might. As he just leaves like the coward he is. As Antylamon and Ice Devimon are surrounded. Both of them a little bit damaged. I told you they would leave us. Yes, I know. Time for Plan B. As Aizawa hears this, Plan B? As Ice Devimon grabs Antylamon's foot as they disappear to the ground. As All Might rushes to punch them. But Antylamon, with her quick movement, punches All Might and the rest of the heroes trying to attack them, to where they disappear into the ground. As they're looking for them. How could they just disappear like that? I don't know. They could have had a backup plan? Were they waiting to be betrayed? Aizawa thought, as he noticed them just disappear. Something doesn't feel right. As we see Ice Devimon and Antylamon in the underground cave system that Ice Devimon put up, as Antylamon's just crawling through the cave. How long until we get out of here? Just about 30 minutes. Or at least for me. For you it may be a little bit longer. Ha ha ha, so funny. As they finally reach the exit and Antylamon heads to the base as Ice Devimon appears to where the girl was. I'm here to pick you up. As two henchmen walk into the room and looks at Ice Devimon. Get away from her! As they charge at Ice Devimon. As Ice Devimon just moves his long hand, cutting both the villains' heads off. Now, come on, Eri. It's time we leave. As Eri grabs onto his hand as they disappear. As they appear in the base where Antylamon is waiting. So this is the child, right? As Eri looks up with sparkly eyes as she sees a giant bunny. Giant bunny! As she runs over and hugs Antylamon's leg. I must admit, I probably should have sent you to get her. She is much more fond of you than me. No offense, but you're kind of scary to children. Fair point. But I offered her a way out, and she took it. That's at least good for us. I know. How is the data of you making another Digimon coming along? Good. I would like you to meet Puppetmon. As Puppetmon comes out. Hello, Ice Devimon. This is actually a good idea. He's small, easy to get in places, and he's quite of a good hitter. He can easily use people as puppets. Well, that's good. So how exactly will we get David Shield to cooperate? Easy. We threaten him, as Puppetmon will watch his daughter, Melissa. That way, if he tries to communicate or anything, Puppetmon will just deal with her. That works splendidly, Antylamon, as Aries just still messing with Antylamon's leg. Now, if you'll excuse me, I used a lot of energy. I'm going to replenish by getting some rest. Says the person that got less beaten up than me. I got sent flying not once, but twice. Yes, and you did take some heavy blows, but you're a lot more durable than I am. As she sighs, fair point. Go get your rest. The plan for Island starts soon. As she lays down, as well to get some rest. Eri just lays next to her. And that's where I'm going to end part 3. Hope y'all have enjoyed.